Today I'm going to be reviewing the San Diego 530 model made by Blaupunkt for you today. This is a really cool unit, an overdue review. Blaupunkt really makes some cool stuff. So if you're in the market and you're looking for a new receiver for this coming year, don't overlook this brand. You'd be doing yourself a very big disservice. I was just on their site when I was re-educating myself about the line because of some reasons. I wanted to know more about the iGo GPS and some of the accessories and the technology that goes into these units, because I like to educate myself before I go ahead and give information to you that could be less than totally informative, you know, or inaccurate, which would be the worst thing I could ever do to you. So with that said, Blaupunkt for 2014 has an exceptionally good car audio line, and I got to tell you, it's really something. Give it a look. The prices have come down. Like a lot of things in this emerging market, Blaupunkt has stayed ahead of the curve. That's why they stayed in business for 75 years. And that's just not me saying that. There you go, it's on the box. They have been around for 75 years. I remember playing with the stuff when I was a kid. Many different models I used to have. So anyway, in the box, this is what you get. They have this remote, and I'm going to say this. I can't say as a fact because they're tight-lipped about this information. However, I see enough things, and I review and sell and install enough of the stuff myself so I can make my own conclusions. But this brand here seems to be made by Epsilon, which is pretty much the major manufacturer going on these days, which makes a lot of AudioVox, Jensen, Valor DVD, Soundstream, Power Acoustic, a lot of the big brands, the stuff that sells the most. As far as GPS goes, I got to tell you that this iGo Primo that's in this unit, I had no idea what it was or just how great it was. I'm going to go into depth on that because it was a big learning curve for me, and if you're really looking for quality and you like the latest, greatest stuff, definitely stay tuned and listen to what I have to say about the iGo Primo for this GPS, because it's really something. So your remote kind of is a telltale when I use these units, because they kind of relabel things and they use it for one for the other. It saves manufacturing expenses for them, and I understand how it works, and that's cool. As long as it does what it has to do. It's a full function remote. It's big. It's not one of those little ones that you can lose on the seat, and that's okay with me. There's your antenna. It's actually really rather nice. All the tooling is excellent, right angle. The actual antenna itself is a little bit larger than I'm accustomed to seeing, but I'm sure that there's a reason. Again, this iGo Primo, they got 15 million POIs. They got a lot of stuff going on with that. It's a pretty wicked interface. RCA preamp plug, which is detachable, kind of like how a Clarion works and some other manufacturers. Back strap. There's a lock and key there, so you can put it on the back of the unit and lock it into your dash utilizing the strap. Your standard harness, which is for your four speakers, and over here you have your Euro style, which is so common of Blaupunkt over their entire career, and this plug, which again to me looks like a Jensen or an AudioVox plug. It looks to me like it'll plug directly into a new Jensen unit, and that's okay too. There's your power harness. Over here they have this microphone with the clip. You could detach it, flush mount it, whatever you're going to do with that, you could do that. And over here, no lack of information. No disc on this one. They give you this Bible to read, and that's okay. So there's a quick overview of this unit, and I want to explain to you a couple things about this unit before I get involved in it. You'll see that there's some really interesting engineering going on in this unit. For instance, over here, when you're installing it, they have these little machine head screws, so that way you can actually mount your unit using the supplied cage, which is nice. I like that. And another thing that's really interesting about it is that they actually give you this trim ring, which is a little different than everything else out there, and I'll tell you why. I mean, I'm going to take a very close-up look at this unit with you, so don't be worried about that. But if you notice that this looks different than everything else on the market, and how it differs is by the color. It's got this real sleek European look. It's got this graphite gray finish to it. So if that's what you're looking for, and a lot of vehicles call for that these days, you can't just make a black unit look okay with a graphite dash kit. It can look a little choppy. So if you're looking for something that has that graphite finish, this actually might be something you might want to consider. The size is pretty typical of all units, 4 inches in height. With the trim ring installed, it's 4 3/4. Your width, 7 1/4, and your depth is 7 inches. So it's very typical of everything else. If you need to ISO mount the unit, I'm going to show you how that works out. It has provisions so you can, connect it to the normal vehicles like Nissan, Toyota, etc. And I'm going to get into the back and explain to you what this unit offers as far as functionality wise. So here we are at the home screen of this Bluetooth. So here we are now at the rear of this unit, and I want to explain to you what's going on. Over here we have this plug, which is for your GPS antenna. It's a thread on, it's not a push on, so that's very good for connectivity purposes. Over here, your main harness, which has this ISO connector, which is typical of European styling, has these plugs which you can plug and unplug, as well as from the main unit. And I'll tell you why this is cool. Just by looking at it regularly, you wouldn't really think twice about it. However, as an installer, which is what I am, I can appreciate that, because if you wanted to add something, upgrade something, rewire something, swap it out for whatever reason, pull it out for a myriad of reasons, it's so much easier to just go like click click and unplug everything and walk away and have the unit disconnected. So many units these days have partial hardwired connections, and some of them that are disconnectable or not color coded, and it can be a little complicated just doing the reversal of an uninstallation. So with that, I respect that, and I can really appreciate that, so good job on that job from Blaupunkt. Over here on this main connector, what we have is your 8 speaker level outputs, which is nothing new. We have power ground, we have your power continuous turn on output for your amplifier, and over here we have another output which would be for a power antenna. You have a dedicated reverse lead which will click on your camera. Over here your e-brake, which is a grounding type pulse input, which is required for video on safety feature. Dedicated camera input, universal RCA. SWC stands for steering wheel controls, which will work with pretty much anything on the market, whether it be PAC, Metra, they all work with it. Over here we have another quick disconnect plug, which is all your RCA preamp outputs. This unit boasts 2 sets of preamp outputs for your front and rear, and you have a mono output for your subwoofer. I would have liked to see the stereo output for my own reasons, but that's my story. But again, front, rear, and sub, that's important. And a slave video output. So we got that. Our analog input here. We have an expandable plug here for TMC, which is for a black box traffic add-on, which iGo Primo, I'm going to get into again. I can't wait to tell you about this iGo Primo. It's crazy. And over here you have a dedicated mic input, which is for the microphone, which is supplied to the unit. This unit, however, is not satellite radio compatible, so keep that in mind. I can't just tell you about what it does have, I also have to tell you about what it doesn't. So keep that in mind, and let's keep moving. Let's see what this thing is when it's get turned on and going. What you see now is the main home screen of this unit. I just wanted to show you as a note over here on the side what this unit offers. Over here on the top you have a generic USB 2.0 input. Right here we have a mini SD slot, and we have a 3.5mm analog input. And I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get into on this unit is definitely the GPS, because I really just can't control myself. I have to talk about this GPS. Once I started getting involved into researching Blaupunkt a little bit more and seeing what they've been up to as of recent, it took me to the iGo Primo navigation software. Now, folks, as much as I know, I never knew what iGo was really all about. I didn't realize that iGo was pretty much the premier software that was being used in over 350 portable and hard install pieces, just like the one that you're looking at right now, for everything from Alpine to Yo-Yo. I mean, literally, they're all in there. I couldn't believe, I mean, when I was looking at the mapping, I was saying, wow, this is just like the Clarion, the NX604 or the NX602. I've seen this stuff in like Alpine, I've seen it in Kenwood, and I've seen it in, aside from the Garmin, their hard install pieces, which of course everybody knows uses Garmin as their proprietary software. But pretty much all the major manufacturers, even the Pioneer portable stuff like the AVIC F500BT, if you're accustomed to that, they've all been using this software. This software is really amazing, and I got to tell you, it's amazing. I always wondered what was going on and who uses what, and you know, who's getting the deals and whatever. I always thought that Navtech was really where it's at. Apparently not so. All the GPS and stuff that I ever review and stuff that I use in live person, and I've always found that I had the best time utilizing myself, is this software. And that's obviously the reason why I'm really, you know, I really love it. I have to say, I really do like it. And when I like something, you can hear in my voice, and I'm glad to tell people about it, because if I'm going to like it, I mean, I'm very choosy, I'm very picky, I can really be a real pain in the ass about things. So if I can say I like it, you're going to like it. I know you're going to like it. Not only that, but this iGo also has an app which you can put on your iPhone. And on top of that, they even have red light camera apps. They have this traffic indication, which works through live analog software, which this unit and lots of other units on the market support. It also gives you stuff like speed traps. It gives you red light camera locations, which is something that I'm sure anybody can use, and they're becoming much more and more prevalent over time. So that's there. There's a lot of cool stuff. Traffic, I mean, it's just a really cool emerging technology. Actually, it's not even emerging. It's been around forever. It's just that people like me were so abysmal to it, they didn't even realize what was going on. It's been there all the time. It's just been getting bigger until it was almost impossible to ignore anymore. So this iGo Primo software in this unit, I want you to know, especially for the price point that this unit is, this has some pretty serious stuff built into it. So don't think you're getting a second best of anything, because this thing has it. And I'm going to show you right now. Here we are at the home screen of this unit. You can see we have our main source icons for the disc, radio, the USB, which is here of course, your nav, your settings, camera, AV input, and Bluetooth. You have your rear zone setting right here, and on the bottom, like the Europeans always like the Ergo style, they got the calendar, the day, the time, and a quick reference button to your EQ, which is where this radio really shines. This you don't find in the $350 to $400 price range, at least this year or in a couple years of past. You have a real 10-band digital parametric EQ, folks. That sells a lot of people. I mean, just leaving this thing on in a soundboard in the store, just with this screen on, would probably entice me to just come just to touch the buttons, because who can help themselves? Of course, you're going to have all your presets. So if you're lazy, if you don't really know how to use it, I mean, most people just kind of leave it like this anyway. You know, that's the old standby. But you can adjust this and make it however you want it to be. I think that that's excellent. The easy EQ they have set up, your fader balance is all located right in this little area. Your sub volume control right there. Pretty nice. So that shines. The GPS on this unit is excellent. I love this iGo Primo. I'm crazy about it. If you want to learn more about it, go to naviextras.com. It shows you a list of, like I was explaining, over 350 manufacturers. Pretty much anybody who's everybody is using this software. They have all this insane updates that you can put on there for these red light cameras and traffic alerts and icons, and they have the app for the iPhone if you really fall in love with it and you want to keep it and go with it everywhere you are when you're outside of your car. I mean, it's a really great product. So enough of the iGo. Disc self-explanatory. Radio screen, I'll show you. You know, nothing really too crazy going on here. I don't want to waste a whole lot of time. You're going to have your standard 18 presets in FM, 6 and AM. RDS built into it, so it gives you all the data from the station that's broadcast, which is a good feature. Always a clock at the top. USB, which will take you to the auxiliary input. Your nav I'm going to save till last. Bluetooth, touch of a button so you can stream your audio right to the unit. Add one right there. Your settings, always a button away. Things are laid out very logically. AV input is for your analog input. I'm not going to waste my time on that. Your camera, which is not connected, that would give you that on screen whenever you want to see it. Your settings, I'm just going to go through this really quick. If you're an American, of course, this is going to work for you, but I want other people in the other places of the country to understand that if you are Chinese, if you are European, this unit will work almost worldwide. It has settings, and the tuner can be cross-compatible, not just for US bands, but across Europe and several other applications. Go to Blaupunk's site. There's a whole list of how it all works out. You know, I'm not a world traveler myself, but just take my word for it. It has a lot to offer. Enough said on that. Subwoofer control, you have 3 presets. You have for your low-pass filter. Right now it's set on, what is it, 120 hertz. You can swap that around, move it to 80, 120, or up to 160 hertz, and limit those frequencies down to your subwoofer. Over here we have our video settings, which we can adjust and set a password. Rating levels we can block. General settings. There's a quick look at that. Here's your sound settings, which we already touched on. The clock, nothing really crazy going on there. Standard 1224 time. You can adjust all that how you want it to be. Your language. There's for your on-screen display, your DVD subtitles, on-screen menus, all that stuff. There's your Bluetooth settings. And volumes. This is like a feature for Pioneer, I could say, for instance. People can identify with it. where it's like an ASL, automatic sound leveling adjustment, so that way when you switch from one zone to another, kind of like how when you watch TV and you watch the commercial and it goes really crazy loud, this will allow you to adjust all those different sources, so that way they're all flow and they function really well. I mean, the navigation is really where this unit shines, in my opinion. The only thing I really don't like a lot about this unit is I don't like the screen is very glossy. I've noticed that I've been looking at myself like a mirror almost in this monitor for this whole review. So for me, that might be a detractor. You might want to invest in a one of those anti-glare screen thingies that they sell on eBay for a couple bucks. Could be a good investment. But this navigation is awesome. Just the navigation and the price of this unit as an AV unit all in one. I mean, it sells for almost what other competing units charge without the GPS. I am inside of a metal building. I have the antenna is just basically sitting right on top of the unit, and it's picking up. It sees exactly where I am. That is where I am. There's your speed limit, what's going on, your time, your main menu. Over here, there's your GPS information. That is exactly correct. Lots of helpful information, buttons, things to press, toys to play with. Look at the speed. Watch this. Wilson Machine and Welding Works. Interesting. Laid out very nice. I like that. Really good. I like that. Go back real quick. I want to show you. Touch the screen. You can move it around, and just drag it and just find a place on the screen. Bang, and take yourself right there. This here has all the information, the 3D raised aerial maps, and the you know, kind of like the terrain, which is like what is the new standard. Everything looks, you know, like the correct elevation, such as buildings and bridges and valleys and all that kind of crazy stuff. This has all that. It's already built in. You don't have to upgrade for anything in the future. It's awesome right out of the box. But if you ever wanted to make it better a couple years down the road, you can do that. You have the option, like I said, Navi Extras. Fantastic. And you could change all these settings, move it, change it from car, truck, whatever it is that you have. I want you to see on the menu. Well, I don't have a route, so I shouldn't hit that. I'm just gonna hit find a place. See, we want a place to stay. There's the stuff around you. Look at how fast that was. World Golf Village. Fantastic. All your information. Save it to favorites. Whatever you got to do. Very, very fun and easy to use. Anybody can enjoy. Custom searches. This thing works exceptionally well, especially when you're on a route and you want to stop and make a quick stop someplace. These things work excellent because I've used this so many times myself for that exact purpose. All I can say is I really like this GPS. Second to none. Awesome. Traffic built in. Excellent. There's your delays, information, latest, greatest stuff. What more can you ask for? I love it. I mean, I can just go on and on all day about this unit. But you know something? I've really been doing myself and probably all my watchers a disservice by not showing people about this Blaupunkt. I mean, it's been all about the big brands, you know, Kenwood, Alpine, Sony, Pioneer, and, you know, JVC for forever and ever. And, you know, there are brands that are out there that are doing an equally as good job and being much more competitive in the marketplace, and I think that everybody should get a fair shake. This is one that I really think is good, and I think it's well worth looking into, so give it a look. It's blaupunkt.com. This one here is a San Diego 530 model.